Our state did not expand Medicaid, so truly that gap of the low-income, working uninsured is huge. So if we're talking pre-COVID, when we had unemployment less than 3%, we still had well over 120,000 people alone in Orange County that were uninsured. About a third of our patients use the emergency room at least once in the year prior to coming to Grace, and that's been consistent. So we're talking about a third of our patients. Sadly, 40% don't seek care at all, and it's just out of reach. They're not familiar with where to go, they can't afford it, they're terrified of racking up huge debt, and so you have many, many undiagnosed chronic conditions that are only getting worse over time, which ultimately is costing our community a lot more money in the future. When they do finally have to seek care, they're more complicated, they're sicker, and the need is exponential. So we're excited to be a resource, especially for the newly uninsured that now are going to struggle to find ongoing health care. We had really just moved into our new building about 6 months before COVID hit. So we were still adjusting to new space and dental services. We opened our dental center in October of last year. So you can imagine when COVID hit, we were all really thrown for a loop, but I'm so proud that we never closed our doors. We remained open for our patients, which was our number 1 priority. And again, as a testament to God's grace, we were given a grant for the first time by Orange County to implement telehealth. We were given that grant about 6 months before COVID, and we launched HIPAA-compliant telehealth March 1st, before anybody knew the word COVID. So we were able to immediately pivot to telehealth appointments during the month of April, and then we've slowly brought back seen patients who had to be seen, and now we're back to just about full capacity and enrolling new patients. Where is Grace going in the next 10 years? I'm so excited to think about that. We had actually started work on a new strategic plan before the pandemic that our board recently adopted. So the implementation date may shift a little bit, but it's gonna be really exciting. There's so many needs of our patients that we're ready to tackle. For instance, our new mental health wing has 5 dedicated mental health exam rooms. We're excited to grow that and really unpack the emotional and the mental issues that impact health. Of course, we have a wonderful dental center that's available not only to our patients, but to others in Orange County as well through a partnership with an outside entity. And we're excited to recruit more volunteer dentists, which is desperately needed, and offer those services to more of our patients. We've always been concerned about the social determinants of health, but that's really become apparent during the pandemic. We realized that our patients now are prioritizing food, transportation, housing over their healthcare needs, understandably, with such economic hardship. So what are some of the new partnerships that we can create that help address those needs so they no longer put off critical healthcare services? For instance, what can we do around transportation? What are some of the partners that are out there? Can we offer food, access to healthy food in a more widely available basis to our patients in our beautiful new teaching kitchen? And of course, we'll always continue to work with students. We have the most student involvement than we've ever had, whether it's medical school students or pre-med or pre-PA students, pre-nursing students. We believe that our obligation is to teach the next generation of healthcare providers and workers on how to offer healthcare services to everyone in a respectful, holistic manner. Our greatest need, I'm always going to say funding. As a 501c3 that relies solely on private donations, I'm deeply concerned about the economic hardships that many of our donors face and what that looks like this year and next year and beyond, and what does that look like for philanthropy. Unfortunately, we lost 3 specialist volunteers because they're at high risk and concerned. We do very rigorous screening of our patients, staff, and volunteers, including temperature checks and screening questions and in all the PPE that's necessary. But for some, they just can't come back. And some of them also have childcare issues with the disruption in school and school-age children. So we always need volunteers. We need especially physician and nursing volunteers, mental health volunteers, and dental volunteers.